Hey, how's it going, guys? We are back with more reactions for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This time on to episode number 6 of season 5. Last time we had. Last time we had a very fun episode. We had a very fun episode with seeing our second favourite British boy, Lance Hunter, returning in a very surprising kind of return. He returned to help bust Fitz out of the secret military prison he ended up in after he was left behind when the rest of the team got taken, presumably by Enoch, to the monolith and everything. And we met Enoch too. Enoch, the bald guy that sheds it, that actually zips off his skin every time he goes to take a shower. That's Enoch. I think, what is he? He's a 30,000-year-old chronicom. He's a chronicom from a planet somewhere out there in the vast reaches of space, and he's a 30,000-year-old anthropologist. Actually, he was sent to Earth to record and observe human history over 30,000 years so far. But he is a. I think I think looking back to episode 2, I think he also mentioned he's a sentient chronicom too. So I don't know if he obviously used sentient, so I'm guessing that must be a keyword to what he is. Like he himself is like a sentient chronicom. So because I think the kind of default would probably be sentient. So it's only if the majority of your species is not sentient, that you would need to specify that you're a sentient kind of form of your version. So he mentioned he's a sentient chronicom, so maybe the rest of them aren't sentient. But I think when I went back and actually heard that, it actually just kind of stuck in my head. Like, oh, so he's a sentient chronicom, so then maybe the rest of them aren't sentient, or maybe less so. But either way, he's a sentient chronicom from the planet of the Chronicoms, wherever it is. I think it said I think the star system Cygnus. I think the constellation of Cygnus or something. So he's the one. He actually um he has been keeping in touch with Polly Hinton and her daughter Robin, the kind of the widowed wife and the daughter of I can't remember what his name was, but the guy from back in season 3, the actual clairvoyant, the other clairvoyant in human, because I think Raina was the first clairvoyant in human, so he was the other one. But then his one was also specific to him and anyone who came into contact with him, seeing visions of death in the future, like death and danger in the future. So he died, but then his daughter also carried the inhuman gene, and she went through pterogenesis. So then she started. I think she actually started getting them in like a very different way. I think where she just kind of sees it herself, but then she actually draws it out in her little sketches and doodles and everything. So then she literally prophesizes the future through her doodles. So then I think somehow Enoch came across them, or he just kind of came into contact with them, and then he's been kind of helping to maintain the future and actually kind of maintain prophecies and actually make sure they come true as best as they get, as best as he can. And I think one of those prophecies was actually one of those prophecies was actually the Earth being destroyed and the Earth being ripped apart and everything. So that was one of them. And then I think another one might have been him finding the team in the diner and perhaps even actually taking them to the monolith as well, but then leaving Fitz behind. And then I think she drew another one that Fitz saw, where I think apparently he has to save his friend in the future, and then there was like a scene of death and really kind of ominous kind of stuff going on. So yeah, so then in the end, it was actually prophesized that not only he initially had to stay behind, but then eventually he would be preserved in an actual cryopod and everything, and then he'd be sent to the future that way, 70 years into the future, because they're in 2091. They were sent to 2091, so not so far ahead, but still quite a few decades ahead. So they Captain America'd him. They Captain America'd him in a much less devastating way. So there was that, and then he woke up in the future again with Enoch, and Enoch planned together, and now they're gonna be the space boys out to rescue his Shield fam and everything. So that was cool. But we had Lance back. Lance, Hunter came back to. I think he kind of came across. I think he actually mentioned in that episode he heard that Fitz was missing. He heard Fitz was missing, and then he came across his fan letters in some kind of football fan magazine that he knew only Fitz could have written, and then he actually came up with an elaborate plan to actually to save him, which he did then, and it was one of the best, not only one of the best not only an episode with some of the best Fitz and Hunter centric moments I've seen, but just also I think it quite intentionally being a Fitz and Hunter centric episode, it was just one of the best kind of exchanges I've seen between them in so long, but also just in general in the show's run. So I'm really glad they managed to actually bring Nick Blood back for this, and I did question where Bobby was, and people were kind enough in the comments to actually let me know that it was actually around this time, and I actually did know that she was in the show, but I actually forgot it when I was actually watching that episode. But I think I actually did like find out when she signed on to the new show. I think at the time of this, she was actually filming the show with Seth MacFarlane, the Orville. Like I think it's probably like I mean I think I remember seeing like a trailer back when that kind of launched, and then I think even like from the pictures and stuff, it kind of reminds me of like Star Trek and everything. So knowing Seth MacFarlane, like I don't think he really does too many like dramatic or sci-fi like to that kind of extent where it's dramatic and deep and philosophical and things. I think for him, knowing him is probably Star Trek, but with a bit more kind of comedy or a bit more kind of satire or parody or something mixed into it. So yeah, never checked it out though. But I think I've heard she's in it. And I've seen pictures of of her and Seth MacFarlane in it, so that's cool. So I think she was busy filming that. So love that for her. Love that she was actually able to sign on to a new project and hopefully have fun filming that too. I think the Orville now I think it's actually been cancelled, hasn't it? I think it was either cancelled or I think it was actually brought to like an end. I think it didn't really run for like more than a few seasons. So I think it actually, I'm pretty sure. At least I remember hearing rumors about cancellation like a year ago or like more than a year ago or something. So I don't know if it actually got cancelled or if it actually just only ran for like a few seasons before coming to a swift close or something. So I don't know, but either way, I think she's been on that show too, so that's cool. So that was why she didn't come back, and then but I think she was still mentioned. I think he did still talk about how they almost got married again before they ran into ninjas, and then they kind of were keeping things long distance, and they were like distance, like the distance for Fitzsimmons was a curse, but then distance for Hunter and Bobby was actually their savior, like actually putting some distance between them actually helped them and stuff like that. But we still got some great Hunter stuff with Fitz, so again for that I will always be grateful, and that was just a really great episode, like a great flashback episode to show what Fitz went through, but then also knowing that he actually got helped to find the key to getting back to his family again from an old family friend, so or like an old like an older member of the family. So that was really cool. That was really super cool. So good to see our boys back in action again. So yeah, Enoch is now with Fitz too. So now so the episode ended with him waking up and him actually, being ready to jump into Enoch's plan of action that he put in over the course of 74 years, I think. So now, and then I think we remember that he actually got to Cassius's auction too. So he actually got there. He met Daisy too. He actually reunited with Daisy, and he's got like the same kind of get up as Deke. So now we can potentially jump back into the present day and actually have Fitz reuniting with the whole team again. So we've got a Fitzsimmons reunion, got a Fitz Daisy reunion, and hopefully like a Fitz and family kind of reunion. So hopefully, and then maybe I think maybe some kind of like conversation about how exactly Fitz and Deke have matching get-ups and everything. Maybe if they've taken tips or if they just somehow have like this like a similar dress sense or something. So I don't know, but I guess either way we'll see. Either way we'll see. So yeah, so that's cool, and I think I just kind of remembered. So I think because of the fact that Fitz was then like Fitz when in cryo was stored on the planet stored on the ship orbiting the other planet. I think that then kind of disproves him being among those who were living on the surface of the Earth. Because I think that there's still meant to be like a group of humans that were banished by Cassius, or at least killed by Cassius, living on the surface of the Earth, and then those are meant to be like elders of Shield or survivors of, Cassius's earlier kind of punishments and everything. So I think this disproves that Fitz is a part of them. Maybe he still knows them somehow. Maybe he actually is still coming in contact with them, or still knows them. But I think this maybe slightly disproves that. But I guess we'll see. So yeah, that is pretty much everything I can remember from the last one. Well, no, I think there was a military lady too. I think that the army lady actually killed those two other kind of agents who actually worked with her. I think because they failed to find Fitz and Hunter, and then she ended up killing them and stuff. And then she made like a whole plan to try and track down Robin and try and weaponize her for the U.S. government and everything. So don't know if they're gonna come back anyway, if they're gonna actually make some kind of return, because then she did say like they need everything, they need every weapon they can use in this war. But I don't know if that's actually connected to stuff that Shield does, or if that's just her thinking in like a super kind of destructive military kind of way or something. So either way, that happened too. But yeah, that is definitely what I can remember. That's definitely what I can remember. So on to episode number 6 of this fifth glorious season. So yeah, onto the reaction, and you guys know the drill. This one will just be the fair use version. If you want the full-length reaction, where you can watch the entire episode and the reaction along with it, then that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. So, yeah, that is it. So, on to episode number 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5. Let's go.
It was a rather fun pursuit constructing your alias.
What is his alias?
No longer are you Leopold Fitz, but instead Boschtalk, a
Boschtalk.
vile space marauder of unlimited.
A marauder. Oh, a space
Really
marauder.
necessary. Indeed.
He definitely
That
looks like fun.
signifies the number of it. The chances of survival would be less than 2% for each individual.
There's your girl. There's your girl. Oh god, she can't hear him. Simmons, please turn around. Simmons, please turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Simmons.
Is Gemma Simmons.
No shit,
Would
Enoch.
like me to broker an introduction?
Oh, please do a reunion. You need to do a lot better than an introduction.
Introduce me to Gemma.
I'm begging you, turn around. Simmons, turn around. I'm begging you. Simmons, turn around.
Gemma, it's me. Don't turn around.
Oh no, she can't hear you.
Just
Oh.
play it cool.
Oh god, no, she can't hear you, Fitz.
Because we have crossed galaxies, we have traveled through time, we have survived the bomb of the Atlantic just so we could be together. Now a love like that is stronger than any curse. And you and I, we are unstoppable together. So Gemma Simmons, will you marry me? I know I said play it cool, but I didn't mean play it this cool.
He just proposed in outer space.
Well, why don't you tell me how your guest needs are met when your slaves can't hear them?
Oh boy. Oh, he's about to rip Cassius a new one. Fitzy boy is gonna rip Cassius 2 whole new ones.
Thank you.
Yeah, now repropose. Now repropose. She didn't hear you the first time. Repropose. Repropose.
Well, I find the only motivation people ever really need is pain and its proper application.
Oh god, spoken like the doctor.
That's Flint.
He doesn't have anyone talking him through.
Flint.
His
Oh, that's
parents
him.
were
That's a
killed in the
kid.
renewal. Virgil had a soft spot for the kid. Look, everything's gonna be fine. Going through the mist, it's no big deal.
I thought she said it happened a few days ago or something. Or is it? I don't know. She mentioned something happened a few days ago, but so apparently now he's yet to be misted.
Let's just hope none of these kids crossed over.
They're bred to be inhumans, though, isn't that? Doesn't that mean that they all have to turn? Like they control breeding purely to create inhumans. So doesn't that mean that they all do? Nothing. Flint is inhuman. Flint is inhuman. Oh boy. Oh, is he the only one? Is he the only inhuman? Whoa! Flint? Oh, she saved him. Oh, Yo-Yo saved him. Oh, Yo-Yo saved him. Oh, for a second I was actually about to question, is he like a teleporter or something? But no, she saved him.
The strain of your exile seemed to...
Oh, he's an exiled Kree.
I was never exiled.
Humans clearly have the numbers, so fear is essential.
Oh,
And getting them
God.
to do it, that is the trick.
Oh, no.
Ritualization helps make it sort of a game.
This Boschtalk makes for a lively dinner companion.
No, he's not gonna forget that. Look at that coy smirk.
I was just kidnapped by a crazy woman.
Hey, the kid ain't wrong about that.
Don't worry, she's with me.
And she's not the only inhuman with us.
There's an equally powerful one,
You mean
arguably.
this guy? No, he's just cool.
Yeah.
Look, we can't hide in here.
Marauder Fitz. God damn. Okay.
Melinda May.
May! Oh god, as soon as it said assassin.
Shield.
As soon as it said assassin, I was like, wait, they've got an assassin? But then it's like Destroyer of Worlds. Oh god, yeah, May, your son's back. Your son's back from the past. Yeah. Deadly assassin versus a telepath.
My father was disapproving.
That's one way to put it.
Things I did to earn his respect. They all have scars.
My own situation was a tragic misunderstanding.
Oh. Oh. Oh, Jesus. God, May, come on.
You're doubting yourself.
Then I won't kill you.
Thanks for promising not to do something you can't.
She'll only hurt you really, really badly.
Didn't think. Just did.
So if she doesn't think but still fights, can she do it? If she doesn't envision her own attacks?
I came to see the destroyer fight, not some ancient has-been.
He doesn't mean it, Melinda. He doesn't mean it.
Send the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. to the surface.
Oh,
The
to the
connections
surface.
will have much more use for her than your weary audio.
The people up on the surface, the people up top.
Escort the human woman to the surface lift.
Yeah, so he gets her out there and then he can just reunite with Daisy.
Thank you.
No one can escape the roaches.
Dude, just shut up and keep swinging your swords all fancy and shit. Yeah.
You could be hiding him.
Now, why would she do such a thing?
Why would I do that?
I saw you together at the ceremony. If I find you keeping things from me, there will be consequences.
Understood. We done here?
I crossed it over 3 weeks earlier after eating fish soup and tacos.
What are tacos?
You don't have
What kind of
tacos?
future is this?
They took away tacos. Okay, I've never even had tacos, but even I know, you know, you don't take away tacos.
I had told myself this.
You don't take away food in general.
And then my cousin.
Not good food.
What did you think was happening?
My heart was beating so fast, I thought someone had put cocaine in my blood.
Dial it back, Escobar.
If I wanted to tease, I would have visited the brothels of Kitson.
Brothels of Kitson. There are alien brothels, really? Damn.
She insisted that my servant was the only one, which turned out to be untrue.
Besides, it's not his fault. Besides,
Oh no.
Boldly.
I am the one to blame, not Ben.
Perhaps. But he's far less valuable.
Oh no. Oh, the balls of death. The metal balls of death. Oh god, Ben. Oh god, I'm so sorry about what I said about your swords.
Hopefully you found this display more to your liking.
Oh, you sadistic little shit.
We came from the past to save the world.
So you know about it, but you still laugh?
Look, I may be a rube, but only dumb rubes believe in that prophecy nonsense.
Once that creepy son of a bitch pays me off, he can do whatever he wants.
Include kill you, so you can't spend all those riches?
Being dead.
I'm gonna kill him. You'll have to get in line.
I'll pay to watch both of you tag team him,
you can
happily.
Showed up out of nowhere with his own spaceship.
It's a baller move. Not to mention the whole bounty hunter look he's rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my cardigans.
Well, he was cute in cardigans. He's badass in space leather.
Here we are again. Us against the world.
My bioquake. Come on, bring it in. Come on, take it in, take it in, take it in, take it in. Coming out the shadows.
You must hurry. There's a situation.
What do I have to do? Do I have to wait till the end? Must I wait until the end?
Nothing says that I gotta turn you in, Cherry. So, you know, maybe I will just watch you sizzle.
Oh god, oh no. Yo. Oh. Is it him? Is he telekinetic?
Hey, knock it off, Junior.
Is he telekinetic?
Will you figure it out?
Oh, it's gonna be an emotional trigger. It's gonna be emotional trigger.
You stop it, or I will stop.
Just knock him out with a big one, Flint. Knock him out with a big one. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. And it did a lot more than knock him out. Okay then.
You promised me a chance to make an offer.
Which I look forward to entertaining. Though I would encourage you to consider one of my other Inhumans.
Destroyer or nothing. Destroyer or nothing.
That did not appear to go well. Let's hope the rest does.
More money, more units, whatever. More tokens. Has he got a rhodium? Because that would be super freaking expensive. That would be super expensive. Is that his body? Is that Grill's body?
This destroyer had better be what you say, or I'll gladly remind you of the many shapes my anger takes.
So great, now there's two of them. Now there's two of them.
The destroyer must face a Kree warrior.
Oh, a Kree warrior. One of his best.
Stray shall suffice.
Oh, Daisy versus Sanara.
But Sanara's not prepared for battle. Is she not your greatest warrior?
To the death.
That is what has been promised.
So is she afraid then? Is she not confident in her ability to take on Daisy? Is she actually afraid of Daisy? I mean, going up against someone called the Destroyer of Worlds would not give you the greatest confidence, you know.
I served 3 terms. I'm a pretty financially responsible dude.
Tess!
They killed her because she wouldn't give up Flint.
She's already
No.
dead. The only thing we could do now is try to keep Flint from meeting the same end. Come on.
Tess!
Dear friends,
Damn it.
may I present to you
Quake, the destroyer of worlds.
God, what is it with the bus kids and having hot entrances? God, Tess is Tess. Oh God, I did not. Fuck's sake. Is it so they can't be impacted by the balls or the quakes? Yeah.
Alright, you freaky blue bitch. Let's do this.
Oh, you got this, Daisy Bell. You've got this. You got this right in the bag. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Okay, not through her. Not through her. That's a plus. It's not through her. Didn't go through her. Oh, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. So that's what was in the bag then, not more money, just a gun. Yeah. Oh, didn't work, but that was so cool. That was so cool. She literally stopped one of the balls. Yes. Oh God. Oh. Oh, she stopped right in mid-track. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. She just cut Cassius. Oh, the inhibitor. Oh, her inhibitors. Oh. Oh, yes.
I'm never leaving you again.
Then marry me, Fitz.
Oh, this is a gift. Oh, this is a gift.
Just to say, I did propose earlier when Cassandra said you didn't turn
Of
up.
course you did.
Yeah. Oh, this is a gift.
Seriously, I didn't.
Oh, this is a gift. Oh, has he painted himself blue? Did he paint himself blue?
I've always been, brother.
Enoch just painted himself blue.
Do you know where you're going? People don't come back from
I'm not a person.
He's not a person, he's a Chronicon. Yeah. Is he going to the surface? Oh, he was going to the surface. Oh. This was a good one. The opening, the beginning, the first 5 to 10 minutes alone was just me being collapsed and passed out and everything, and just me being overwhelmed and flabbergasted and fluttered by everything was just amazing. You know, I mean, because I was waiting for it to happen, but then also I was waiting to see how it would happen. Like how are they gonna reunite? How are they gonna address this? How are they gonna address Fitz's return from the past and everything, and him actually being there and them finally being reunited with him and everything. So, you know, I was curious as to how all that stuff was gonna be addressed, and then they did address it, and then it was like, you know, that scene, you know, of like him having no idea that she actually genuinely couldn't hear him. I think, but then they showed her reflection in the window she was looking out, so I think she could see her reflection. And I mean, to be fair, it was still fairly vague-ish. Like, and he was standing behind her, so he was still by that logic, he was still further away from the window that she was, so that maybe only people standing the exact distance away as her would actually have noticed it. But I think she could. I think even we as the audience could very vaguely make out her own reflection in the mirror and everything. So I was then wondering, like, like, would she then see a figure standing directly behind her for like 5 minutes, or would she actually feel? Would she even? Because I mean, she can't hear, but she has her other senses, right? So I think she can still feel, like, because I think usually even if you don't hear it, but then you still feel something, like you can still feel someone coming up behind you. You can still feel like goosebumps or some kind of like sense of someone being directly behind you, which he was. I thought maybe she'd actually get creeped out by that and actually turn around and see what's happening, but then no, just just her standing by the window, like her being completely oblivious, but then also her being in that kind of mental pain of being silenced and not being able to go anywhere, and not having Fitz, and not having Daisy, and not having anyone from the Shield family, and still just kind of just being under Cassius' control and everything, and then unbeknownst to her, Fitz is behind her, having slowly walking up to her, reunited with her, and he's just given off the most heartfelt speech he's ever delivered in this show, and he is like or at least yet the most heartfelt speech so far, because now we know what's about to come in the future. We know what's about to come in the future. But he is giving off like one of the most heartfelt speeches he's ever given her too. He's talking about how like the universe can't separate them anymore. They're destined to be together, and he's done running, and he gives off in his own words that I honestly just can't even repeat the same effect. And then and then he finally, he's like, like the cosmos won't separate them anymore. They're gonna be together. He's always gonna find her and all that kind of stuff. And then you gotta give it to him. The man knows how to do an on the spot proposal in the most in the most stressful situations. Like he literally, I mean he did tell her before, like oh, play it cool, but just be aware that I'm here. I'm right behind you, and I'm back and everything. And then he proposed that, like that's the kind of situation where she would want to actually scream yes and jump into his arms and kiss him and do all that kind of stuff, like that is what I think would be accurate to what her marriage proposal, to her proposal reaction would be, and her response would be. But then he's like, he's asking her not to do that in this kind of situation. So, so yeah. But then he just has no idea. And then he proposes. He asks her, "Will you marry me?" So he does it. He did it. And then of course again he doesn't know that she can't hear him. So he's just like, okay. I mean, I know he said play it cool, but I feel like this is a bit too cool. So I mean, like this is the point where I actually would like to hear you say yes, or at least hear your answer and everything. He doesn't know, and then she doesn't find out until Cassius comes along and asks him what's happening, and then that's her first time literally seeing Fitz back again in a whole new getup with a whole new look and everything. So he proposed. He didn't even have a ring. He didn't have a ring. I mean, I don't know if he actually has I don't know if it's gonna be because if he doesn't have a ring at all, or if he actually did if he's gonna have some kind of a makeshift ring on him that he's gonna give her later, or if he's gonna give her a ring at all, or if he's gonna save that for the actual wedding day itself. But I really don't know. But either way, he proposed. He said the words, and then she didn't hear him the first time. And I love that they actually called that back. I love that they actually called that back at the end of the episode too. Like him reassuring her, like I actually you may feel like you just proposed to me just now, but I actually did propose to you at the beginning. So just I did try and do it first. I didn't leave it all up to you. I did try and do it first. So there's all that stuff. But babies have come so far. They've come so far, and they proposed to each other in space, and now they've escaped and everything. So that was just so sweet. That was so sweet. But then at the very end, Simmons proposed back to him. At the very end, Simmons proposed back to him, and then he was like, "Of course I will. What else am I gonna do when I've come this far for you and everyone else?" And then he grabs her and kisses her, and then it's a yes, and then they're now engaged. Ring or no ring, they are now. I mean, do you need to? I mean, I think, is the ring actually to do with legality, or is that tradition? Like, can you still be engaged without a ring? Like, is it not just to do with actually one person proposing and then the other person saying yes, or does that absolutely? I mean, some people get the ring later on, like they still propose and then it happens, and then they get the ring later on. But then does it absolutely need to be ring? Can the ring itself not be like an actual wedding day thing, like the actual wedding ring? Because then you propose with an engagement ring, but then you get married with a wedding ring. So is the engagement ring compulsory, or can the engagement just happen with the words and stuff like that. I don't know, but I mean, because like I would not be bothered at all if they actually only had a wedding ring and they didn't really do the whole engagement thing as well. Because for one thing, it's them; they can do whatever they want, and also for another thing, they're in fucking space. Like finding jewelry on like in an environment like this is gonna be next to impossible, let alone good looking jewelry. But I think again, both of them know the situation they're in. They would not expect anything kind of pristine or high quality from the other. So again, but if they didn't do the engagement ring thing and they just kind of stuck it to that awesome escape with Daisy at the end there, and they just stuck to that whole kind of proposal thing, I would not be bothered at all. I would just be gleefully and blissfully happy waiting for their wedding day and everything. So that was super sweet. That was super duper sugary, buttery sweet. That was just, yeah, just... God, it makes me so happy to think about it. It makes me so happy to think about, like, just because I just can't help but think about how far they've come. Like, I think, because, like, there's always a part of me that wishes I could go back and actually revisit season 1 again with a fresh mind and watch that development and all that angst and all that kind of, like, because I think season one just had the strongest of, like, Fitz being like that kind of really shy, lovesick puppy kind of vibe to it. Like that whole relationship between them two, like Simmons kind of being the one he has a crush on, and Simmons kind of even when you go further down the seasons, you get that whole thing of like Simmons, like even the videotapes that she did. I think it was the video stuff, the videotapes that she did on not Vormir, I'm thinking of Vormir, Marveth, that she actually did those video logs, and she actually talked about how she liked him back in the academy. She thought he was handsome and he was helpful and he was sweet, and she liked him and she kept on following around and everything. So I think she still had that kind of attraction then, but then she didn't really think much of it, and then he was too afraid to tell her he liked her and everything. So going back to season 1, he was just that little kind of like it was that kind of cute kind of childlike crush that he had on her that he was too afraid to admit to until it was too late, or no, until it felt like it was too late. But then now, actually going down the season now, seeing how far they've come too, it's like like sometimes I wish I could go back and revisit season 1 and just re-experience all that kind of childlike kind of angst all over again. Actually see how they grew up from then to all of them, like Daisy, or as back then as she was Sky, and then and then Fitz and Simmons, the bus kids just in general. And Daisy being the captain of the FitzSimmons ship too. Like she is, I mean, I don't even know if she actually managed to catch them doing a proposal thing as she was on the floor and everything. But regardless, when she properly finds out and processes it, she is going to be over the moon for them, and she's going to be, she's going to be begging. I mean, well, she's going to offer to do like any kind of wedding planning or something. Not that they can really do any wedding planning like after the end of the world, but still, she's gonna be, she's gonna be extremely happy to be there and to actually do whatever she can to make that day as special for them as she can. So, oh God, I love this show. I love this show. I love it so much. I love it. I can't help it. It's it's unlovable. Does that make it's unlovable? Like you can't not love it. It's unlovable. It's unlovable. It's unhateable. It's unhateable. It's just it's just so much. It's just so much good, and so much of what is good about Marvel, TV and Marvel Entertainment overall. So it's so good, so good. There's plenty of time for them to get married in this season. Like we're only 6 episodes in. There's plenty of time for them to get married in this season. That I really don't want them to push that to like season 6 or anything. I don't want them to be like that far back. I want them to hopefully be able to actually cover it then. But then, given what they've already gone through and given what they're likely about to go through now, it's likely going to be like a really high tense and high stakes situation. So I think I don't know exactly how much of their mind is going to be occupied by like the future wedding on the horizon and everything, and then the rest of the team has to find out too. The rest of the team has to find out, and they've got to congratulate them and everything. So that is the reaction I'm looking forward to the most. I think it's just to see. I think seeing Daisy officially realizing it and processing it, but then also actually them telling the team like, oh yeah, we got engaged, and then the team, congratulating them too. So. But then seeing Daisy and Simmons, like their sisterhood in this is easily one of my favorite like female relationships and friendships in this show and in just Marvel kind of canon as a whole, and then in like Marvel kind of like entertainment as a whole. Seeing them and just seeing them just kind of like strategizing, but then also actually teaming up as well, and actually trying to get things done together and actually trying to band together and everything was really fun to see. So seeing that was cool, and I think that one line too, you know, like here we are again, us against the world, like them two, just like against whatever against whatever odds Cassius and the rest of the crew decide to throw at them, against whatever odds the Lighthouse decides to throw at them. If they have to fight some kind of battle down there too, you know, they're reunited. They're gonna stay together. They're gonna stick together, and they're gonna get back to their family and fight to escape Cassius' crutches again too. So yeah, just Bioquake. You know, I mean, I know I've said before I do ship them, and I think part of me still does, but I think like most, if not all, I think, you know, just even platonic and soulmate style, like platonic soulmate style relationships and friendships between female characters is again like that's equally valuable and equally respectable and equally cherishable. So I think, you know, even, you know, I know they're never gonna get together. It's not gonna happen in that way. I value this as much as I do value any actual kind of shipping and everything. So seeing them together, seeing them working together as friends and as sisters and everything like that is really cool too. So seeing them actually being able to actually still like even in like the high kind of tension that is Cassius's kind of domain, seeing them still being able to actually be in contact and be in touch and being actually being able to be together is really cool too. And seeing them just having each other's backs and just banding together and actually just staying together is really fun. So that's cool. And then both of them kind of realizing that Fitz just came back, like both their reactions there is really cool. And then them actually kind of realizing that, you know, Fitz must have some kind of plan. If he's here, he can't just be here just to watch stuff. And well, he's obviously not here just to watch stuff. He's actually here to try and help them and try and figure out a way to get back and everything. So that's cool. But yeah, always love Bioquake. Always love my Bioquake girl. So that was cool. Yeah, I love the Fitz and Enoch stuff. The Enoch being here. Enoch was, I think, I think he wasn't even in this for that long, and he was iconic. I love Enoch. I love the actor for Enoch. He's doing such a terrific job actually handling him, and he reminds me of I think in some ways, I think, who does he remind me of? He actually reminds me of like a character I've seen somewhere else. I think, like, who does he remind me of? Like, because like he's like the way he is, like his line delivery and his actual kind of person, like the way he is and the way he conducts himself, kind of reminds me a lot of someone from like another TV show. I don't know. I can't remember what TV show it is, but I know I've seen characters like similar to him with that kind of with those kind of mannerisms, that kind of like actual like, you know, like line, like speech delivery and that kind of actual personality and everything. So, you know, like him, like him feeling like almost robotic, but still like, you know, I think because he must be techno organic, right? Because then he does lose his skin and he clearly has something else underneath. So I think he must be either techno organic or he must be like just some kind of super advanced biological kind of life form or something. So, you know, I don't exactly know what the fuck a chronicom is. You know, so that's yet to be unveiled or even talked about in any way. So there's that. But I think Enoch himself, like again, like he so far seems like a really cool character. He spent. I mean, albeit Fitz was in cryo-freeze, but he spent years with Fitz. He spent years watching over Fitz, taking care of him, and making sure he was okay, and then that he would actually, you know, be ready to wake up in 70 odd years. And even now he's like, you know, he's got his own kind of scarf and coat kind of get up, and he looks super cool. And he, you know, like kind of kept the gun hidden, the ISA hidden for Fitz again. So that's cool, and he's just been working with Fitz the entire time to actually help liberate his friends from Cassius's prison and everything. So Enoch is just super cool. He's super cool. And even at the very end, he literally don't know if I mean, you know, like it. I mean, because I mean, he can shed. I think he can shed. He can unzip and lose his skin. But then, can he change his own skin color like that though? Can he actually change his skin color so he actually goes blue to white or something, or like? Because I've really, I mean, I don't know if, like, if he would actually, you know, paint himself blue or something. But I think I don't know like how he did. I think because I mean, he has that technology from the first episode where he actually changed the logo stuff on the van. So I wonder if he has that same technology but for himself. Maybe if he actually what his skin color is for the sake of the mission or something. I don't know, but for this sake, he was literally just kind of walking past the Kree, and I think he was in the because he got into the elevator, but then the Kree said most people who go up there most people who go there don't make it back and everything. So I think that must have been like an elevator to the surface. I think at the end of the day, especially because when they took May away, I think Cassius even told them take her to the Earth elevator or like take her to the Earth lift or something. So I think that's the actual elevator that actually takes them to the surface of the Earth. So I think that must be where he's going. So he must be going to actually pick up May or to do something else or to save May because she's just been taken to the surface of the earth. But I think she was taken there by the Kree, who would absolutely intentionally leave her out to be roach food or something. So he's probably going to actually save her and everything. So he's gone there. But yeah, I mean, Enoch just honestly seems like such a cool guy. And you know, like perhaps like a more organic Vision, because I think Vision is purely android and everything. So I think perhaps like more like an organic Vision, like a techno organic Vision and stuff. So I think maybe, like, no offense to Vision, but maybe like a more fun version of Vision. Because I think with Vision, again, his intelligence and his personality is completely constructed of AI. Like even if he picks up something new, it will be algorithms running in his brain. It's like his entire everything about him and the way he thinks and talks and behaves and exists is artificial intelligence. But then with Enoch, I kind of do wonder, you know, could he have like an actual flesh brain, and could he actually have flesh kind of organs or like aspects to him? But then, you know, like more durable or more kind of precious parts of him could be, you know, or like technological or something, or maybe that could be the reverse. Maybe the more vital parts of him are actually organic, and that could be his weakness. But then other parts of him are actually techno or something. I don't know, but I get like techno organic like ish kind of vibes from him, similar to Brainy from Supergirl. There's a similar to Brainiac 5 from Supergirl. He even has his own camouflage thing too. I think he has he can switch between his kind of like human, or at least he could switch between his human and his Coluan form too. So I think maybe like some to him. I mean he wasn't the character I was thinking of when I told him when I said that he reminded me of someone else. But I think he is also he is actually like yet another character that Enoch actually reminds me of. So I think he could be like the Brainiac 5 of Agents of Shield. So that's cool, and I love Brainy. Brainy is also like an equally awesome character on that show too. So I love him, and you know, Enoch just kind of definitely gives me his own original character vibes, but then also like he kind of reminds me of him. So he was cool, and then yeah, just Enoch and Fitz' whole kind of dynamic in this show. How in this episode, however brief it was, only a few scenes here and there. It was still super cool to actually to see and everything and to think about. So that's really fun, and him just kind of having Fitz kind of covered from the beginning, like him having that gun and him being like, you know what, if nothing else goes to plan, I got you, I picked up this ISA, I kept it well hidden for you, so you can enact your plan, and then he'll probably go and save May and everything. So probably the plan all along, or like an emergency plan that he then updated Enoch on, and then Enoch decided, okay, time to go save Agent Melinda May of Shield. So yeah, but yeah, no, the actor is doing a great job. The actor is doing a fantastic job of Enoch so far, so I can't wait to see more of him. I really can't wait to see more of him. So, but yeah, I think they called him I think I feel like the kind of label for him would probably be like Marauder Fitz, perhaps. You know, like, because I feel like each different variation of Fitz we've had kind of gets its own kind of ID, like not like an ID label, but it gets like a label of its own for you to identify him. Like I don't know what season 1 and season 2's might be. Like maybe season 2's could be Cardigan Fitz, because I think, you know, she even said, but back when they were talking about Fitz too, I think in Daisy's room they even mentioned how you know, like now he's rocked up in space wearing leather and everything, and then, you know, Simmons said she preferred him in cardigans and everything. So yeah, I think season two he wore like a fair amount of cardigans. I think even in season 1 probably too. I think in season 1, but I think in season 2, I don't know why, but the cardigans he wore in season 2 always kind of jumped out to me a bit more. So, you know, season 2 and maybe season 1 could be like cardigan fits, and season 3 just awesome jacket fits and facial hair fits. Like, you know, his facial hair really popped in season 3. You know, and then season 4 we had a bunch of different fits. I think in season 4, I think the most notable one would probably be like framework fits, perhaps, or like the Doctor fits. I think whichever like framework fits or Doctor fits. So there's that, and then I don't know if there's one for Ghost Rider fits. I think that one is just like fits, like Shield fits, and then what the LMD fits. I think I don't know. I think maybe not all of them, because some of them I think some of them you might only need to distinguish between story wise. So like LMD fits, and then Ghost Rider fits, and then like some of them don't have like that specific like overlooks to them. I think over the seasons they do update him from time to time, so then that way you recognize him. But with this one, I feel like Marauder fits kind of maybe fits, because I think that was his cover, like that was the actual alias that designed for him. I think he was Bosch Tok the Marauder. I think Bosch Tok the Marauder and everything, and he had like a whole like I think one look at him, I think Marauder or Scavenger or something would definitely be like the way you kind of like see him. I think he's wearing almost the exact same getup as Deke too. So I think Deke definitely. I think Deke could have easily passed for like a marauder or like a scavenger. Like I think Deke could have easily much more passed for a scavenger. Deke could have easily much more passed for like a scavenger, and stuff. So, or even a ravager, him being like shield style and everything. So there was that. But with Fitz, he was the marauder. So I think he could probably be like marauder Fitz and everything. So that was cool. But yeah, no. So yeah, I think Marauder Fitz is our newest iteration of Fitz that we've gotten from the season and from the show. So that's cool. So he definitely looked great. He looked great. I think in terms of actual style and clothing elements, I don't know if him and Enoch actually intentionally coordinated or if they just kind of. I mean, I feel like because they planned this whole thing out, they must have intentionally coordinated. Like Enoch felt he had to look as classy. Like Enoch looked classier. Fitz looked a bit more rugged and post-apocalyptic and that kind of he like more handsome in that sense and stuff. Like he'd been through some shit and now he's here to rescue the woman he loves and their best friend and everything, and all that kind of stuff. So and he's here to rescue his family too. So like he's been through some shit. He's here to plan the rescue mission and marry the woman of his dreams and everything. So like there's that whole thing. But then with he's just like I am the classier Alfred to him. Like he's his classier kind of friend and assistant and backup and getaway driver or pilot or whatever. He's just the guy who he just looked a lot classier and looked a lot cleaner and everything. Not exclusively due to the lack of any hair or facial hair or anything like that, but still just kind of like he just looked classier. His clothes looked a lot cleaner. Like he was like, I'm gonna roll up wearing almost the exact same thing as you, but I'm actually gonna press my shirt and flatten out my jacket and wear like a silkier, more kind of shinier kind of scarf and everything. So he had like pretty much the same thing going for him. So that was cool. But Marauder Fitz looking. But I feel like there were definitely times when the Doctor Fitz that we remember from the framework, I feel like there were definitely times that he kind of jumped down this episode and stuff, like with the dialogue, and I think even Fitz's Fitz's delivery, and I don't know if that's actually intent. Like I don't know if the delivery technique is intentional, because I think the delivery technique and delivery method I registered was Ian pretending to be Fitz, pretending to be to kind of like be like him trying to be more intimidating as Fitz, but then unintentionally bringing out a side of him that actually looks and sounds more like the Doctor and everything. So I think he even mentioned I think he had a line later on, in the arena to Cassius, being like the things I did to achieve my father's approval, it left scars in me. So I think I'm pretty sure like he's referring to stuff from the framework. Because I think in the framework, even if it dropped him in the middle of his adult life with memories of a different life, he still remembers having done those things, and he still remembers having done things from that point onwards in order to maintain his father's approval. So I think that person living in the framework was a completely different version of him. So I think that stuff still left scars, and I think those scars are what we see bleeding through from time to time in this episode, like him talking about pain is the best motivator, or him being him answering the question about how Cassius keeps the humans alive, being I'd make them fight each other and I'd make a game of it, I'd make it really fun and sadistic and watch them resort to all these different kind of murderous tendencies and all that kind of stuff, like some of the stuff he said, the way he said it. I think it's again Ian's acting ability, but then I think it's actually them, like the writers then actually intentionally making him bleed out those little kind of glimmers of the Doctor still in him, because again it's a side of him. It's just, I think the framework just kind of the framework exposed him to, or at least his subconscious to a side of him that could exist had things turned out even slightly differently in his past. If his father had actually taken him with him in the real world, then he absolutely would have actually ended up there. Certain things do happen in season one that like Fitz does certain things in season one that actually does aid in the Shield team to actually being able to win in the end and actually being able to actually have the strength in numbers and doing stuff. So I think in that regard, I feel like maybe Hydra could have won and they could have still had that thing, but then the framework was a result of all of their I think the framework was still the result of most, if not all, of their actual actions and those kind of twists and turns kind of combining into one. So May not killing, the girl goes on to kill, Simmons dies, Fitz never meets her, Fitz gets taken away by his father, that stuff happens, and all these different kind of, twists and turns converge into one another to create this perfect world the Hydra's to create this imperfect world the Hydra's taken over and stuff. So I think all of those converge into one. So I think I think it wouldn't be completely the same if only Fitz thing had happened in real life. But then I think like his stuff with his father would still happen. He'd still turn out to be an actual dickbag in real life, and he'd still turn out to be like a really unlikable and horrible person. But then he probably wouldn't be the head of Hydra, or like some kind of like Hydra tech genius or something. And stuff would happen. So I think he still has those scars fresh from the framework, and he still thinks about that. I think maybe every day, or just almost every day, or like almost all the time. So it's that stuff just never really escaped his mind. So I feel like like him referencing that was him referencing acknowledgement of his own scars from the framework. But then he maybe unintentionally, or like maybe he feels like he has to do it, and he kind of lets it go just a little bit, just to actually maintain that sense of control in the situation. But then he also kind of knows that like that is not him speaking. That's the doctor inside of him speaking, and everything. So yeah, I mean the question from season 4 ending kind of did kind of lead to like how are they gonna carry over the framework stuff into this, like the after effects of that and the trauma on various characters. And I think so far they haven't. I mean, so far I think only Mack and Fitz have really kind of suffered from that. Like Mack having like suffered over his inability to deal with losing hope, and like kind of being caught between the two hopes and everything that he had. Whereas with Fitz, it's more like equally kind of arguably equally traumatic, with him actually kind of like actually trying to kind of let go of who that person was, and actually trying to understand that that wasn't him, it was a different version of him that could have easily happened, but then it didn't. And the one that is in the real world is definitely the one that the real world actually needs and is all the more grateful for. So I think just like an interesting display of that kind of version of him kind of coming out like from time to time, and then him actually acknowledging it kind of even subtly towards the end. So yeah, then we had Cassius stuff too. We had Cassius. Cassius actually had like a bit of family drama unveiled in this episode. Cassius had been exiled by his father, presumably from Hala, because I think Hala is. I mean Hala is like the home. It is the home world. Like that's the home planet of the Kree. And I think even from what we saw in Captain Marvel, that was the home planet. Like that was there. But I think even from what we saw in Captain Marvel, I think for the sake of what kind of story Captain Marvel was, I don't really think we saw exactly what the living situation was like there. I think most of what we saw was how like the Kree military and how Kree military operations and stuff like that were handled. Because then the Kree like control like an actual huge military, and I think possibly including probably not including Kree people from other races. I think Carol was the exception. Her being human, but I think most, if not all, other actual Kree soldiers are actually biologically Kree and everything. So I could be wrong. If I am, then feel free to correct me. But I think but because of that, I think most of what we saw from Captain Marvel was actually the military stuff. So I don't believe we saw too much of what the actual living situation was like, or maybe if like they have other cities around Hala, or if they have other planets that they have as actual kind of more colonial, or like more like well, undoubtedly colonial, but then also more like residential outposts too, maybe, like because then I think they definitely kind of likely would believe in probably inhabiting other planets and habitizing them too. So in his words, he had simply been kind of sent away to actually handle the Earth project and everything. So then I wonder then like if he was simply sent there to control any remaining humans after the Earth was destroyed. Like maybe if the Kree found out that the Earth had been destroyed, maybe if it really was Quake, like in this time, like for whatever reason, maybe if it really was Quake, maybe if they even found out that like like not only was it like just anyone, but it wasn't just anyone, but it was actually Quake, aka the Destroyer of Worlds, aka one of them, like arguably the most powerful and human they have ever been responsible for. Then he's like okay, this seems like an interesting enough project, and it's maybe something to send him away for, and it's maybe something that maybe like a teachable moment for him to control what's left and to actually do something. So then for him, Cassius kind of sees that as like a way to actually seek his father's approval and everything. So that happens. So then he actually takes over the lighthouse with the Kree, and then he actually establishes his own society and everything. So he does all that kind of stuff. Well, then his brother Fornook is then I think probably the older brother too, probably the older, more kind of domineering kind of brother. He's the one who's kind of in charge of the family empire. He's the one actually controlling stuff on back on their home world and actually controlling stuff closer to the home front and everything. So he's the one. And I think even his demeanor, like even he just he like just has that kind of dickish. I think also I think possibly more similar to the Last Airbender, possibly more similar to that, because then Zuko desperately seeks his father's attention, and even Azula treats him like shit. And then his father is also just like, again, just like a firebending asshole. So he, I think probably maybe more accurate to that too. Like, so maybe I mean, in that one again, Zuko is misguided and he's kind of misled by his desperation to seek approval for his father. So I think, but with this one, Cassius seems to genuinely hate humanity. Like he seems to genuinely hate humanity, and he seems to genuinely hate what's left of Earth and what he's in control of. Like he doesn't really, he himself, I think he himself, he doesn't even really see it as true power. I think he sees what his family has control of as true power, and he desperately wants to actually have, like, yeah, I think he, at least, like, even if he doesn't lead his family's empire, I think he desperately wants to actually try and have a stake in it, and then because of that he wants to get home as quickly as possible and actually prove that he's worthy of having that kind of, like, that level of leadership at least. So I think, he is desperate to actually get off of Earth, and he's desperate to leave all this behind, but then also destroy it in his wake too. So he has all that stuff going on. So Cassius, I think he does have that kind of like possibly misled energy about him, but then he's also, I think he's also powered by like an actual general, perhaps even like instilled, like early instilled kind of disgust for possibly anything that might not be Kree. So in this case, that's kind of directed towards humans and everything. So is that, and he also has no problem actually breeding and selling off in humans to complete his mission and to actually complete his journey home. So he's also even if he's misguided, he's also genuinely just not really a good person deep down. So there's all that. But then I do wonder maybe like could he be the kind of character where it's like they change once they lose everything? Because right now he has power, he has a place to stay, he has that kind of level of hierarchy within the lighthouse too. Everything he says goes, and he controls who does what and what happens when. So if he were to lose everything, then would that change him, or like would that send him into some kind of like blind rage, or would it actually kind of actually humble him a bit more and actually make him realize make him kind of reevaluate exactly what his kind of life goals are when he loses everything, or well, I don't know, but and then we had Terragenesis stuff going on with what was his name? Flint. We met Flint. He's a little teenage kid living on the lighthouse, and we learned about like the kind of Terragenesis process. So it's like once a year the kids. I think it probably gives the even like the actual it gives even the earlier teenagers actually some time to grow and develop and stuff too. So once a year they put the 18-year-olds through Terragenesis. So that's that, and that's terrifying too. So I think yeah, I think I don't know. I think maybe it's a detail I've missed out on. Maybe there's actually something obvious I'm not getting here. Or maybe it's just something I haven't realized yet. But I think the question I have is like, why didn't all the kids turn? Because I think what I felt that they established during that scene where Deke talked about the breeding, like the specialized breeding that Cassius put the humans through, and how he controlled who had kids and how they had kids and all that stuff. Like I thought, because the whole point was to breed in humans, I thought he would make it so that all the kids could turn out to being humans. But then with this, that didn't happen. I think perhaps even like obviously with Flint being the one in contact with the team and him being like that important of a character, for story purposes, he would also be I mean, because I don't know. I mean, I feel like even for story purposes, like they could have still kept it. I mean, for story purposes, I think for story purposes they could have kept it so that he was the only one that turned that the team managed to save because they knew him. But then the other kids were still, like for gravity, so for darkness sake perhaps, or like for sincerity's sake, maybe the other kids still got shipped off just to show how severe and how scary this process is and stuff. Not that they need to show that anymore, but then just to keep that kind of keep those stakes going, maybe they could have actually still kind of sent those other kids off as Inhumans, but then Yo-Yo manages to save Flint because that's the one they know and that's the one they actually that's all she can really afford to save and everything. But I don't know, but it's like none of the other kids even turned at all. So I think I do then wonder if it's still a matter of chance, because the way it happened before, I feel like the way it definitely was determined. I mean, would it be? I think no, because I think if you have it, shouldn't it be that if you have any any Kree DNA in you at all, then that makes you inhuman, and then you should change through like Terrigenesis should detect inhuman genes in you and then turn you into one. So then I don't really think it's. I mean, I feel like, you know, in the previous seasons that they covered the inhuman stuff in, then it could have been left up to chance, maybe, but. You know, I think even then it's like I think even then it really should have been like, oh, Terrigenesis, like the mist has hit you and then it's actually detected some inhumanity in you, so then you turn. But then with this, the kids are bred especially to be inhumans. Like they are literally bred and born with inhuman DNA in them. So then by the time they actually become of age, then they can actually go through the Terrigenesis and actually become inhuman. So then, yeah, I'm just really just not sure why all of them didn't turn. Like what reason that could be. Because then, you know, again, I thought maybe it's like maybe it's a matter of chance. Maybe if they have a more dominant human side, then maybe that could be the issue. But then it's like they're literally bred to be this. Like I think you know, like you would think that Cassius would have it so that his scientists would actually make sure that any and all children who were genetically modified to be inhumans would turn out inhuman no matter what. So then that way they'd actually have a more dominant inhuman gene. So I don't know. Maybe it's something really obvious I'm missing. If it is, then you know, absolutely please do let me know down in the comments. Probably gonna kick myself once I found out. Maybe it's gonna be maybe it's gonna feel super obvious once I found out. Well, once I find out, could easily be a detail they mentioned before, but I missed. But I think from what I remember, from what I remember, Deke did explain that, you know, I think he said they thought it was something in the food, like maybe Cassius put something in the food that, you know, gave them that kind of Kree DNA and stuff. But then he not only sterilized the rest of humanity, I think he sterilized them, so then humanity couldn't procreate in the way that they actually did before. But instead, I don't know, maybe they take like DNA from them, maybe. So it's like, you know. But then how would that work? So then I think they sterilize them through the food. Maybe I think they sterilize them through the food, perhaps. But then, if they still need DNA from them, if they still take, assuming they still take DNA from the humans, from the adult humans to actually create the babies, then how would they take that? Like, I mean, would they like draw blood from them, or would they actually? I mean, don't know if they'd actually make them go to some kind of like an actual private room and do what needs to be done there. But with Kree technology, maybe like their test tube babies could literally be artificial. Maybe these babies aren't actually human at all. Because I think Deke did say he was one of the last naturally born human children too. But then, you know, is there a guarantee that the actual kind of like the kids, you know, like on the lighthouse are like now are actually human, or are they actually just purely test tube babies created from information that the Kree have about human DNA, and they've literally been crafted in like, you know, like pods or tubes or whatever or something. So I don't know, because then I think if they did it that way, then it would give them unlimited control over how the kids are born and everything. So that would make sure that, you know, again, no matter what happens, then they then turn out to be 100% inhuman. But then if they're still taking human DNA to make the kids sort of that authentic, then I don't know. But either way, I'm still just kind of like lost on as to why all the kids did not turn out to be inhuman. So I mean, I'm glad they didn't die. If anything, I mean, like they only smashed a skull, so they didn't risk they didn't risk actually smashing anything involving divine metal, which they wouldn't need. They wouldn't need it. So yeah, so I think that then means that those other three kids aren't Inhumans, and I think they can probably go back to their families, like knowing that they're not Inhumans, and then they don't have what the Kree want. But then with kids like with Flint and Abby as well, Abby from earlier, they turned out to be Inhumans. So is it maybe like a 1 in 4 thing too? Because then there were only 4 kids on that stage and everything, and then only one of them actually turned out. So I think is it like everyone? Is it like, you know, every 1 in 4 kids is thing? But then again, that kind of leaves the chance. And then I don't know, like the Kree just like with what Cassius has turned humanity into, and what Cassius has been doing to kids all these years, I don't believe he would do it so that, you know, things that have to up to chance. Like I think he wants guaranteed Inhumans to actually be able to do it. And I think the more Inhumans he has, the more he can auction off. So then, I don't know. Maybe it's just something obvious I'm missing. Maybe it's like a detail in a previous episode that I can actually pick up on. I'll probably go back and have a look through the one before last episode to actually see if Deke mentioned anything else or something. But if there are any details you guys know, by all means, comments are open. Please do help me out and everything. So Flint is just an innocent kid who kind of lives on the lighthouse and everything. And he kind of goes around making business, and he sold like a blade to grill. He sold, I think, like a tin to Gretch, I think her name was, and he just kind of sells random things. I think I couldn't tell probably. I think I'm actually gonna go back and check very quickly. I could not tell like that properly. Did he have like a VHS or like a book or something? Because I vaguely recognized the front cover, but it was all kind of scratched out, kind of. Rizzoli and I saw the Rizzoli. I very briefly caught the Rizzoli on the front cover. I very briefly caught Rizzoli, but then I was like, is that my mind playing tricks? Because again, the cover, yeah, the cover is ever so slightly kind of. Rizzoli, I think that wouldn't be on. I don't think that would be on VHS. Maybe like a DVD or something, or like a Blu-ray or something. But I think it's also a bit too thin to be VHS, but still, that's Rizzoli and Isles. I just clocked that. I think I very briefly clocked the Rizzoli, but I was like, for one thing, the cover is kind of scratched out, and it's also so quick and so brief. I was like, Rizzoli and Isles, because I've heard of Rizzoli and Isles. I've definitely heard of the show and stuff, and not fully familiar on what it's about, but Sasha Alexander is in it. I'm pretty sure she's in it, and another woman. So I think it's about them. But I think Rizzoli and Isles, I think Coulson, it actually exists in in the Marvel universe now, in the MCU. But yeah, has there been a reference to Rizzoli and Isles in the show before? I feel like this is the kind of show. I feel like it's the kind of show that they would actually make a reference to. I feel like it's really the kind of show, the kind of name and the kind of property that they'd actually make some kind of like a cheeky reference to. I can't remember, because they've made a bunch of different references over the season. They've made all sorts of pop culture references. So I think I would not put it past them to make a Rizzoli and Isles reference or something. But then unless they specifically said Rizzoli and Isles, I would not be able to register it or actually understand it as such, because those are the only two names from the show I know. So there's that, but it is Rizzoli and Isles. I think like a DVD of Rizzoli and Isles. I don't know which season, because I'm pretty sure it's a TV show too. It's an actual TV show. So yeah, so Rizzoli and Isles. So that's cool. I very briefly clocked that, but I was like, did I actually see that right? Did it say Rizzoli? But then it also said Isles at the end. So yeah, so he potentially also sold Rizzoli and Isles to someone. I'm assuming they even have DVD players left on the Lighthouse either. So that's a whole other topic to get into. So he sells DVDs, and I think that kind of makes me think of the discussion where it's like people nowadays. I think more and more people nowadays. I think with the rise of like stuff like digital kind of stuff and streaming services are like booming and becoming even more ubiquitous and becoming becoming more and more of like the thing nowadays. I think nowadays you kind of go like at least I've personally kind of come across more and more discussions of people being like, is physical media dying out? Are physical copies actually dying out? Is are DVDs and Blu-rays like a thing in the past, or what's happening? And I personally think no. Because simply because I think partly because of the responses I've seen to that discussion, but then also because it's still, to me at least, it's still very clear today to actually see like just how many people actually cherish and value the simplicity of even the simplest act of owning a physical copy. Like owning a physical copy is like adding it to like a collection. Like a lot of people, even if they prefer to actually watch it on like a streaming service or watch it somewhere else, they still equally cherish the kind of idea of actually having like an actual physical copy to actually add to their collection, actually showing off like a collection of DVD covers and discs and all that kind of stuff, and actually showing that they actually collected these over the years as they bought them as they came out and everything. So because of that, I feel like they won't be dying out anytime. So I think in terms of usage, perhaps maybe because I think even then it's like if you have a DVD one, that thing will never buffer. That thing will never have any kind of it might have technical difficulty. It's not going to be completely completely void of any technical difficulties that come from the disc or your player. But still, I think it's going to be a lot easier. I feel like it might be relatively easier to handle compared to a streaming thing, because then with streaming, then you need to actually you still need to buy stuff. You still need to actually buy it. Like you either pay for the subscription from the streaming service, or you even actually buy or rent the movie from online from wherever. I'm pretty sure even Netflix actually started off being like an actual rental VHS thing. I'm pretty sure Netflix like before they became like an actual streaming service. I'm pretty sure. I know, but Blockbuster was the original rental service, but I'm pretty sure Blockbuster was the original kind of actual VHS rental thing. And before they could expand, they actually kind of shut down and everything, so they closed down. But then I'm pretty sure Netflix actually started off as an actual home delivery kind of VHS rental kind of thing, or like an actual purchase kind of thing or something. Maybe I think, and I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Netflix used to do VHS, right? I think I'm pretty sure, and then a few years later, like down the line, after internet streaming became more of like a thing, I think maybe they actually delved into streaming, and then they actually properly dove into streaming after that as well. So now the only way you can get Netflix is actually streaming online and do that kind of thing. So there's that. So then like with streaming, you can get all sorts of difficulties too, and then but with streaming. With streaming too, you can get it like anywhere. Like with a DVD, you have to have the DVD on you. But with streaming, you can get Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever on your phone, your laptop, your iPad. Like it's across everywhere, your TV, whatever, or like whatever you have. And even now, I think that they actually let you download stuff too. Like you can actually download episodes and movies and stuff off of Netflix, so that you can even watch it offline. So you don't even need internet like to actually watch it at like in those kind of situations. I think streaming is becoming all the more accessible and still kind of like relatively affordable. But then I think a lot of nostalgia out there, and like a lot of actual kind of value and sentimentality behind keeping the actual kind of physical copy collections, actually showing off that collection, like showing off that you collected every movie in a series or in like some kind of universe or whatever. So I think simply because of that, but also because I think also because like movies again like still come out in high quality too. I think like DVDs are still coming out in like Blu-ray and Ultra HD and 4K and 8K and all that kind of stuff. So like it's still coming out in the actual highest qualities available and still being available in that sense. I think people still kind of will enjoy watching that kind of watching in that regard. And also I think because I think DVD covers like just have really cool art too. I think I've always really managed to appreciate the actual effort that goes into actual DVD artwork, but both with the movie, because I think I love like when like a movie has like a good movie poster, which I think anyone would, but then movie posters being on DVD covers I really love. But then even the back of it too, like just having random little boxes and little picture boxes and having like random different poses and like the text and everything. Like I think DVD cover art is honestly just amazing. I think even if I haven't bought any in years, and I think I don't really know if I haven't I also kind of intentionally haven't bought any in years, because I just don't really use DVD anymore. I think even I kind of watch it pretty much everything online now. But I think DVD cover art honestly is just awesome to look at, and it's really I think most of the time it's really well crafted, and like the marketing team puts like a lot of effort into it. And so that is also really appreciable too. Like even if you don't have the disc anymore, then like the actual cover art thing is really cool to appreciate and actually look at and everything. So I think there's a lot of actual kind of value behind having physical collections and physical copies of stuff like this and stuff. So started because a tangent spawned from me actually then believing I saw Rizzoli and I was in the actual video. Like it was a 2-second thing. It was a 2-second shot, and I managed to spawn it into this. So that is me and my mind for you. So yeah. So I mean no. So I actually had a point. I had a point. So yeah. So given I think it reminded me of how like the discussion is going on to this day of like if DVDs are becoming scarce because of how much bigger streaming and like digital stuff is becoming. But then in this environment, I feel like that would be all the more real, because again, like for one thing, like DVD players would be hard to come by. I think not just hard to come by, but I think if anyone in this time did find a DVD player or like a Blu-ray player or like a laptop or anything, some of them might use it depending on how tech savvy they are, but then others, I think they literally might just strip it for parts. If they came across like even like a working DVD player, they might literally just strip it for parts and actually sell the parts off and everything. So even if you found a DVD player, then you might, if you actually do still, and if you found a DVD player, and you were lucky enough to actually still have thingies, like if you're actually still lucky enough to actually have DVDs on you, then you better snatch that up quick before someone else does, and then decides to actually tear it apart instead. So there's that. But then that also makes me wonder, he has the Rizzoli and Isles cover, but then he never opened it up. He never opened it up to make sure the disc was in there. So I think there's no guarantee whatsoever. I literally just kind of realized there's no guarantee that what's in there is an actual DVD for Rizzoli and Isles. Like for all we know, he could easily be using that to store food or to store other tools or other kind of other kind of items in. Maybe you could actually be keeping other items in there to sell too, like maybe like smaller items and smaller tools and stuff. So maybe he's actually using that as like an actual cover. like an actual box for smaller things to sell or something. So, seeing Rosario Niles and seeing what it was, I thought, oh, maybe he's actually really selling DVDs. But then, would anyone have time to watch DVDs in like a world like this or something? So, a lot of things to consider. But yeah, I saw Rosario Niles and I want to talk about it and DVD stuff. So yeah, he presumably sold Rosario Niles. So yeah, but yeah, Flint, he just kind of gets by selling stuff to people and stuff. So then he kind of got unlucky being captured by the Kree and being tested for pterogenesis, which he then tested positive for. He tested positive for pterogenesis. So pterogenesis is the process. It's not like an actual kind of condition. I think he tested positive for inhumanity. So there's that. So that was cool. So yeah, then Flint was turned inhuman. And then he was saved by Yo-Yo. So, Flint, again, story-wise, he was the kind of important one to the team. He was the one that, Tess talked to. Like, he would get stuff for her, and then she would kind of keep him safe and everything. So he just kind of, was running that kind of small business of his own, which, don't even know if it's commendable. Because, again, like, he should not have to do that in this environment to survive. But then, of course, he was doing whatever he could, and he had, I guess, like, good enough kind of survival instincts and kind of good enough kind of initiative to try and take care of himself and everything. Because I think they mentioned that his parents or I think at least his dad had been killed in the renewal, like in the actual like the renewal thing, like where like like the metrics turn and they have to kill each other and all that kind of stuff. So I think they either mentioned his parents or his dad, so that happened. So but I think at this point he's pretty much still just definitely like an orphan. So I think Tess is the only thing he has as close as like a friend or like an ally or like a compatriot or something. So that happened. Yeah. So he was saved by Yo-Yo. In the end, he was saved by Yo. I think I was fully terrified because I thought he literally blew to pieces. I think him being covered in that, and then like him being covered in that, like I think it was clear enough that it was a husk at the end. But then afterwards, something happened, and then it just kind of shattered apart and fell to pieces. And then that just gave me flashbacks to Trip's death of when Daisy's initial quakes throughout the building actually kind of sent chunks of him flying away until he actually fully crumbled down again. So I think this is seeing it like his husk suddenly seemingly explode and then the pieces just shattered down too. It kind of reminded me of that, and I was like, oh my god, don't tell me he actually exploded, or like don't tell me the pterogenesis went wrong and he just kind of turned into the husk and then died or something. But then no, but then Yo-Yo is nowhere to be found. So then afterwards, like, oh, Yo-Yo actually saved him and she actually ran him out. And I think honestly, given all they've been through, I really kind of just would have hoped that they'd actually, actually, wait, no. I think, was Yo-Yo not there initially? Because I think Yo-Yo had to be there, right? Oh, no. She said, I can't watch this. No, because then I was wondering, because then her power is that she has to run back to the same spot after she actually gets going to begin with. So I think she initially said, I can't watch this, and she walked away before the pterogenesis happened. So then, I think then she must have actually walked away and actually gone to Grill's place, then run in, grabbed Flint, and then walked back. So, okay, so yeah, I was wondering, like, was she not there to actually watch the pterogenesis? But then she was, but then she actually didn't watch it all the way to the end, and then she actually saved him at the last minute. So, given all that's happened, given all they've been through, I don't know why they keep going back to Grill's place. I think, again, I think at this point, regardless of whether he's in some kind of board meeting or whatever BS, I think Mack mentioned he'd be in some kind of a meeting or some kind of like a thing that would keep him away until the end of the day. But then, regardless of that, again, after all they've been through at the hands of Grill, I just would not trust that dude's place as a whole. Like, I would not trust his office. I would not trust the actual workstation. I would not trust the balcony. I wouldn't trust I wouldn't trust that room as a whole. I would not trust that room to be like an actual reliable hideout. Especially knowing that that's where he comes back to. He doesn't have like any kind of separate quarters in another room or like another area or anything. Like, he comes back to that room, then goes to his office, and then he does everything there. So I think, I don't know why of all places like she would choose Grill's kind of like base to actually try and protect the kid, try and protect the kidney, especially because they've been pretty much caught there before too. So it's not the safest place to be, especially once he finds you. So don't know why that happened, but either way, it did. Flint was revealed to actually, I think his power's not really coming through immediately. I think it made sense because I think again, like a lot of the time, I think Daisy's might be the one exception because I think she literally broke out of her husk in a quake, and then but then even then her quake powers didn't manifest until much later, and then even then she only learned how to really kind of use them in Afterlife as well. So I think her powers didn't manifest until later. Yo-Yo's, I think she kind of gave him the story of how she her powers didn't really manifest until later either. And I think she wanted to get a beer, so then she used her speed to get a beer, and then she wanted to get the bottle opener, so then she wanted to get a bottle opener. Everything. So I think I think I think most of the time it's been fairly well established that like inhuman powers are similar to inhuman power activation is similar to that of mutants, because like they didn't really probably come through unless the inhuman is actually like under some kind of emotional stress, or unless they're under that kind of like traumatic kind of trigger to actually try and bring the powers through and actually activate those kind of genes in them and everything. So then watching Elena get hurt by getting constantly zapped by Grow made him actually activate his powers then. So then he ends up actually killing Grow. But I think his powers are telekinesis. I'm pretty sure his powers are telekinesis. Like he can actually, I think, because I'm assuming, rocks in there were, I guess he could, he could have used almost anything else, but I think in the moment he kind of looks at what could actually make the most damage probably, so then he actually does rocks. But then I'm assuming it's telekinesis, and it's telekinesis in general and not just exclusive to actual rocks, because then, I think the chances of them being able to keep him around rocks at like 24/7 is going to be damn near impossible. So is that something I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be to telekinesis in general, so that's cool. But then I think I kind of did kind of have the idea of maybe just making a big one to just knock him out or something. And I think when I meant big, I did not mean anywhere as big as what he actually came up with in the end. I thought like big would be like a tennis ball or a grenade or something like fist size, something just to really knock him out, and then they could actually hide him or something. But no, he just ended up creating like a giant Indiana Jones sized boulder, and then crushing Grill to death with it. So yeah, that happened. So Grill is dead. Grill is dead. That's the one guy I won't miss. The one guy I will not miss. So just goodbye. Just bye to Grill. Just bye Grill. For you know what? Good riddance. Good riddance to Grill. He was not like an intentionally or even like a well-meaning person, or like a likable character or likable person in any way. So he will not be missed in that regard at all. So he is just a dick. But then I think with Ben, not Ben, Flint being like a kid, and also like Grill having been one of his customers too, and even Flint's kind of claimed that sometimes he'll give him extra tokens just because. He still kind of felt bad also because he's a kid, so he really should not really be having to actually defend himself by killing or actually having that kind of blood in his hands. So it feels almost like he's been semi-adopted by Coulson and Mack and Elena and everything. So I think it seems like now they've actually just kind of taken the kid under their wing and everything, which I think now at this point they have no choice to. So it's gonna be cool to see how that relationship develops. So that'll be cool. Tess, you know what? I didn't want to say. I thought it. I think I'm starting to think. Even thinking things when you're watching the show can jinx it. I'm starting to think that this show can actually read my mind. Like this show is just like an actual television version of freaking Ben. I'm starting to think like it can easily read your mind and then actually manifest your worst kind of jinxes and your worst kind of like words and your worst fears and everything. Because I think when she had that conversation with that Cree dude, and he said, if I find out you've been hiding something from me, or if I find out you've been hiding something from me, or that you've been lying to me, then there'll be consequences. And I was like, like in my head, I was going like, please don't let anything bad happen to Tess. Don't let Tess be, punished for this or be hurt by this and everything. I think I was going to say it out loud, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to catch my tongue. I won't say anything because if I don't say it, then surely it can't happen, right? Nope. Do you think this show cares about whether or not you actually say something out loud? No, it will read your mind and it will then manifest those fears directly. So, on the one hand, again, Tess just being gone, like they took out they took out Virgil in like a full on horror movie style, and now Tess, I think Tess was taken off screen too. I think we saw her body in the end. We definitely saw her body in the end. I think when she was hanging there like that, I thought she had literally been actually hanging from like a rope or something. But then no, she was just kind of levitating. And then I think it wasn't until the second shot that she actually had like a knife in her chest. I think she had like a knife in her chest or stomach, and it was actually keeping the note on her on her stomach too. Actually, like bring us the Inhuman or something. So Coulson then clocked like she like they killed her because she wouldn't give up Flint, and she wouldn't hand over Flint to them. So then I don't think we ever even saw her get captured. Like after that, even after that scene, we never saw her once get captured or interrogated by the crew. So like we never saw her again. I think literally after that, the only time we saw her was when we found her dead with the rest of with Coulson and Mack. Like that was the only other time. So like it was just so sudden and out of nowhere. Like there was never end. There was, I think besides from that Kree's last words, like there was no hint that she'd be in trouble or punished at all. So like there was no hint that she was going to be in trouble for this. I mean that was the hint, but then there was no other kind of sign that she was being taken away by the Kree or even captured by the Kree or any of those kind of visual hints or anything like that. Just hints in the writings. Like I guess like knowing Shield, that should have been enough, but still she was taken off the board so suddenly, and so I think even that scene too is like I think it's like like Coulson and Mack discover it, but then they both also realize if this is what's happened, then they can't really stick around for long. They have to really get Flint to a safe place. But then, God, Tess was so good. She was so good. She was so like she was thrust headfirst into this, and she was trying so hard to keep the team alive amidst the chaos and the newfound kind of the newfound dystopia that was the lighthouse and everything. Like she tried so hard to keep them under wraps and to actually do the right thing and actually said to help them and everything, and then she even tried so hard to actually help Flint, and then in the end they took her life. Tess. They gave us another character that was actually kind of similar and like someone you could think of as Hartley, but then they only allowed her to live for like a few more episodes, and then that was it, and then they gave her like a less of a visual death compared to Hartley too. So yeah, but yeah, Tess is gone. R.I.P. to Tess. Tess was so good. I actually grew to love her over the course of the episode she was in. She actually helped the team a lot, and she gave up a lot to actually try and keep them safe, and she risked a lot to keep them safe, and then in the end it cost her life and everything. So I think now the Shield team the Shield team will likely beat themselves up for it too. Like they made her do a lot, and then they made her risk a lot that could have gotten her killed a lot sooner, but then she managed to last as long as she did. But then ultimately saving Flint and actually taking Flint away from them was what kind of got her into trouble and everything. So then that costing her. So R.I.P. to Tess. R.I.P. to Tess. Hopefully she's resting now, and hopefully she can reunite with Virgil in the intergalactic afterlife or something. So yeah, just R.I.P. to Tess. R.I.P. to Tess. Additional R.I.P. to Ben too. Ben, he fought May. Ben fought May. May came along, and she saw Fitz. She saw her son back and actually spectating and everything. So she saw Fitz and kind of probably figured that he had some kind of plan. But then she even with a bad leg, she fought. And she stood her ground, and she still did her best against Ben. So she did that, and then I think even with the music going on, with the way with the powers Ben had, and how well he was reacting to her actual tactics, and how like that whole scene was going on, I was fully afraid that not that he'd kill May, but then he'd actually still get like a few fatal kind of stab wounds in her, and he'd still kind of try and do something. But then, even if that did happen, Cassius would not let anything go. He would tell him finish her off, and then he'd actually end the match. He'd actually end the match there, because then it's a fight to the death. So even if Ben only managed to get a few fatal wounds in there to begin with, he'd still make him finish her off. So luckily that didn't happen. But then afterwards, I think Fitz did actually manage to get her out there by saying this one is not a worthy warrior, so just send her to the service and give me someone actually worthy of actually bidding on and bidding against and everything. So then the fight was called off, and then they had and then I think that was when his brother came in, and then his brother said, I don't want to see your inhuman fighting against another one of her kind. That's going to make it too easy a fight, so have her fight your greatest warrior. So I actually had Daisy fighting Sanara. So Daisy versus Sanara, that was a really cool battle too. And then they even actually put the force fields up, because they knew that Sanara's balls could easily hit someone they didn't want to, and even Daisy's quake powers could bring in destruction that they didn't want to suffer from, so they pulled up the force fields, and then that happened. So that was cool. So Daisy was Sanara too. I think that was after Ben too. That was after Ben died. So I think somehow Cassius found out the truth. And then he found out that Ben lied about Daisy and Simmons being the only travelers from the past and being the only ones part of the prophecy and everything. So somehow he found out. I don't know if he exclusively found out that he lied, or if he actually found out that there was actually more that Ben hadn't told him or something. So their story was that there were no other travelers and it was just them. But then that's the story that Ben then confirmed to Kasai. So then he found out that he had been lying in that regard. So that was a big kind of no-no for him. So that happened. But then I think then you know. So then, Ben died too. Then he actually had Ben dying, and then Daisy felt really bad because then he was at, because then she felt responsible because then she then actually, because she didn't make him do it, but then Ben still kind of actually covered him because then he could hear Kasai's thoughts, and then I think then deep down he knew that if Daisy was gonna try anything, then it'd probably still be worth it. But then he still covered for her and everything. But then Daisy felt like she was to blame, and then I'm constantly afraid that she's going to fire those balls that someone said, because I think the first time we saw her use those balls, it did literally crush a dude's skull, and so then I thought he literally, like she literally send it through his eye sockets or send it through something else, but then no, I think now she's going for arguably less gory shots as going through the chest, and I think we don't even see that happen. We even the way the camera is framed, we don't see the balls hit him, we just kind of hear the thud and his body actually being, impacted by it, and then he just kind of falls face flat and everything. So RIP to Ben too. RIP to Ben. Ben was just a survivor. He was a survivalist, and he just kind of believed in actually making sure that at least he and his family could actually make it out of this alive. So you after what he and pretty much all of humanity have been through at this stage, you really can't. I think you really can't really blame him for whatever tactics he was putting on and any tactics he was following. So RIP to Ben. And even in his final moments, he tried to convince Daisy this is not on you. This is not your fault. So take care, and I probably just other silent words probably would have been take care, and I hope you can actually get your family out of here again and everything. So R.I.P. to Ben, R.I.P. to Ben, R.I.P. to Ben and Tess. Ben Tess, the two we actually lost this episode. So yeah, in terms of what happened, I think that's pretty much all the bases covered. I think I've covered pretty much everything I can remember. But it's gonna be good to see the actual team. I think again, now that Tess is dead, I think now the team have officially pretty much just adopted Flint, and he's been taken under their wing now. And I feel like it's, especially with Elena being the first Inhuman, he's the first Inhuman that actually kind of teaches him to utilize his powers as well, and actually is one there for him. I feel like Elena and Mack might be that kind of those kind of parental figures for him as well. So that's gonna be really fun to explore and see where that goes. So that'll be cool. So seeing Flint with them will be cool. Seeing the bus kids kind of reuniting with the rest of the team will be cool too. And actually, hopefully Enoch finds May too. Hopefully Enoch actually goes to the surface and actually finds May. And I'm curious as to just how, besides from all the roach stuff going on, I'm curious as to how habitable and exactly what the Earth's surface really looks like. If there actually is a safe place for her to go, or if there's a safe place for him to take her or something. So hopefully they meet the people on the surface of the Earth soon enough, if they are still around and still alive and everything. So hopefully that works. But yeah, and then hopefully they can break free of Kasai's place without anyone else getting hurt. And hopefully, if Kasai actually then ends up deciding that the lighthouse is a dead project now and it's no longer worth keeping, then he's going to destroy it and then actually kind of leave Earth in its wake and just fly back to Harlow or whatever. So I think hopefully they can protect what's left of humanity and defeat Kasai at the same time. So a lot of hopefuls. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this one. So yeah, that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 5 episode 6. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, then you can salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what your theories are for the next one, and how you felt about everything that went down in this, and how you reacted to everything that went down in this and everything, and what you think we're gonna get going forward. Once again, full-length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check it out over there. And yeah, that is it for now. So bye bye.